bomb cyclones, the snowpack, the rain, the impact it's having on our Colorado.
It's a bummer for commutes, but exciting for water supply.
Over the next 30 minutes on this special edition of Denver 7 Following the Pack, we're breaking down Colorado's snowpack.
The records we saw this season and the impact it's had on our ski resorts.
It's the 4th of July and I'm skiing on the 4th. It's completely insane.
Plus, a look at the state of our reservoirs and Colorado's drought. How are we doing this year compared to last? Good evening. I'm Denver 7 Chief Meteorologist Mike Nelson.
And I'm meteorologist Stacy Donaldson. We begin with a look back at the record snow that dumped in our state this past winter. 2019 snowpack was 128% above normal in the upper Colorado Basin, 113% of normal in the South Platte River Basin, which includes most of the Front Range. Our partners at the Denver Post are helping put that into perspective. They share this side-by-side satellite image of our state. First, you see 2018, then 2019. What a difference in snow cover.
I knew one day it was going to come. I was so stoked when I knew it was coming this year.
This is a must-do. It is a rite of passage. I feel fortunate to be able to call this my 4th of July up here.
Colorado ski resorts were thrilled with all the powder they got this season. A-Basin extended their season multiple times, finally closing on the 4th of July. The last time A-Basin was open through the 4th was July back in 2011. And the latest the ski area stayed open was August 10th in 1995. And Breckenridge Ski Resort extended their ski season by more than a month into late May. And for the first time since the mid-90s, they stayed open through Memorial Day. That's about 5 weeks later than usual. Aspen Mountain was able to reopen for Memorial Day because of all the snow they got. And talk about the economic impact for some resorts. Vail Resorts, for example, reported a net income at $358 million in the second fiscal quarter of 2019 compared to $309 million in the same period 1 year earlier.
Guys, we might be sick of this cold weather with this long winter that we experienced, that bomb cyclone that we had, and yes, snow still here in late May in Colorado, but all of this precipitation has been great for our state.
It really has been great. This year's above-average snowpack helped boost water levels in local reservoirs. Tonight, we're getting a better idea of just how much. Statewide, reservoirs jumped from 59% capacity at the end of May to 76% by the end of June. That still leaves more room for water. Dillon Reservoir is now at 97% capacity, up from 73%. The Blue Mesa Reservoir is at 84%, up from 54% capacity. Lake Granby is at 91%, up from 64%. And the McPhee Reservoir was already at 88% capacity and is now full.
Well, there's kind of this mad scientist concept that we can change the weather and manipulate nature to get everything we need.
Believe it or not, there's a way to manipulate the weather to cater to our needs. We're talking about cloud seeding, when scientists inject chemicals into the atmosphere to change the amount of precipitation we get.
Without the water, nobody wants to be here, and I'm working at McDonald's.
Tonight, a 360 debate on cloud seeding. Is it a smart use of science, or is it unfairly manipulating Mother Nature? Here's Denver 7's Jace Larson.
Snow. It's one of the things that Colorado is best known for. Why? Well, we love it because we can ski on it. We also like it when it melts and disappears because it brings water downstream, both for us to drink, but also for ranchers and farmers to use to irrigate their fields. So what if you could produce more of it than naturally fell? Lots of people like that idea. They say cloud seeding might just solve a lot of our drought problems. Tonight, we're taking a 360 journey around our state. First to the ranch lands of western Colorado to meet a man whose living depends on water. Then we'll go upstream to where water is crucial for another reason. Then to the mountains to ask how cloud seeders run. Next, we'll go to one of the best experts in the country who tells us if this all really works. And we'll end downstream for this man's anti-cloud seeding perspective that might change your perspective on cloud seeding. Let's kick off this 360 with Gunnison area rancher Greg Peterson. To him, water in some years can be as scarce as the gold that brought settlers to Colorado.
That's absolutely critical. It's the most important thing
raising cattle and hay in this valley.
His perspective, we don't have enough water to go around, and cloud seeding offers more snowmelt. That means more water for grass to feed his hungry cattle and eventually their newborns.
Just it gives you the cushion of having enough hay to feed your cattle and not have to worry about buying hay.
Cloud seeding doesn't make clouds, but supporters believe it does get more snow out of an approaching storm. Ground seeders use hot air to carry tiny silver iodide particles up into the clouds. Some companies use specialized planes to inject the clouds. Well, then the moisture already in the clouds bonds to that silver iodide, then it becomes heavy, and voila, snow falls to the ground. Eventually, it melts its way into streams and rivers, also into Jack Bombardier's backyard.
Well, I'm a fishing and whitewater guide, so this river is the key to my livelihood.
This is what a good runoff year looks like on the Colorado River near Gypsum. Cloud seeding produces between 5 and 15% more water. It's not entirely responsible for the snowy winter weather we had, but in Jack's view, anything helps. In fact, he'd like to see more cloud seeding.
Without the water, nobody wants to be here, and I'm working at McDonald's.
Pressurize the tank.
Cloud seeders dot high points in Colorado from the west to the central part of our state. Ski areas hire Eric Germsted's Western Weather Consultants Company to cloud seed early in the season so there's more natural snow before opening day. He continues seeding until mid-April.
Right now it's producing trillions of little ice crystals that are going to be carried up into the cloud base.
What's injected into the clouds here, he says, comes down about 20 miles away as snowflakes. Some people have worried about what silver iodide might do back on the ground. But Eric says no need to worry. Cloud seeding is perfectly safe.
Once it's been used up, it falls back to the earth and as a snowflake and then melts. It's just an inert piece of dust on the ground.
Studies back up his claim about safety. Now, if all of this sounds kind of sci-fi, we wanted to find out, does it really work? Well, the answer comes from here in Boulder at CU.
These observations really show us that cloud seeding does work.
CU researcher Katja Friedrich is as close to a cloud seeding expert as you can get. Her team had a cloud seeding plane fly into moisture-rich clouds.
Aircraft on that day was basically flying back and forth.
This is what begins to appear on radar, and only in the places where the plane released silver iodide.
You can even see these individual flares that we drop.
Proof? Well, not for everyone, as we bring this 360 closer to home.
It doesn't make sense to spend a whole lot of time and a whole lot of money on it.
Radar images don't change the viewpoint of Denver area water supporter Gary Walkner. His nonprofit aims to stop development that slows the Colorado River.
Well, there's kind of this mad scientist concept that we can change the weather and manipulate nature to get everything we need.
Gary notes that cloud seeding only works during a storm that's already coming, and it costs money to fly or operate a ground-based seeder. Supporters, though, say for every $1 in cost, we get $3 worth of water. But Gary says it would be smarter to spend that money to conserve what we already have.
Water conservation is fast, cheap, and easy. And cities can do it and conserve a lot of water and make water that way rather than doing things like cloud seeding.
Conditions have just rapidly deteriorated. We are seeing massive wind gusts.
They're calling this a statewide blizzard. Highways affected everywhere.
You can see in the shopping bag the wind as it tries to blow both of us over.
The bomb cyclone. It's hard to forget. The blizzard, the wind gusts, the frigid temperatures. Will we see that again? We're breaking down El Nino and La Nina to show you what to expect this winter season.
As soon as it hit the truck, everything changed. I mean, you just felt the power of it and the force. And
plus, cars buried along I-70. What triggers an avalanche and what you need to look out for this coming season.
When you see a story from one angle, seems clear what's going on. But when you see it from another, the whole story changes. 360 reporting, multiple perspectives, different opinions, so you can make up your own mind. Denver 7, let's go 360.
Colorado is no stranger to change. But one thing that will never change is our spirit. It's the people who make Colorado special. The mothers, the fathers, the families. Though we may see things from different perspectives, everyone has a voice. We're the innovators, the risk takers, the explorers, the people who help make a difference. We are Colorado. We are Denver 7.
When you see a story from one angle, seems clear what's going on. But when you see it from another, the whole story changes. 360 reporting, multiple perspectives, different opinions, so you can make up your own mind. Denver 7, let's go 360.
Colorado is no stranger to change. But one thing that will never change is our spirit. It's the people who make Colorado special. The mothers, the fathers, the families. Though we may see things from different perspectives, everyone has a voice. We're the innovators, the risk takers, the explorers, the people who help make a difference. We are Colorado. We are Denver 7.
When you see a story from one angle, seems clear what's going on. But when you see it from another, the whole story changes. 360 reporting, multiple perspectives, different opinions, so you can make up your own mind. Denver 7, let's go 360.
Colorado is no stranger to change. But one thing that will never change is our spirit. It's the people who make Colorado special. The mothers, the fathers, the families. Though we may see things from different perspectives, everyone has a voice. We're the innovators, the risk takers, the explorers, the people who help make a difference. We are Colorado. We are Denver 7.
It got real once the impact occurred and we felt the force of it, and it literally shifted the truck, sideways off the road. At the same time, we were blind, completely blind. It was white out in the windows. So you just felt the power of it and the force, and being able to move that truck sideways, and totally underestimated what it was.
The snowpack also made for some treacherous avalanche conditions. We saw avalanche after avalanche late in the season. One of them even buried cars along the I-70 corridor. Good news is everyone survived. But experts call this a hidden danger, a deep, persistent slab. It forms when a weak layer of snow is buried under fresh snow, creating a thick, hard slab. This kind of avalanche can be tough to predict. It can also be difficult to trigger, but if you're caught in one, it's usually deadly.
We talk about El Nino and La Nina a lot during our weathercast, especially who's looking forward to the winter seasons. What do they really mean? Well, El Nino is a warming of the waters in the equatorial Pacific. What that warmer water does, it produces a lot of thunderstorms, it puts a lot of energy into the atmosphere and changes the pattern of the jet stream around the world, across the nation, and over Colorado. Typically, in an El Nino winter, the pattern will oftentimes show a split jet stream, one to the north, one to the south. That blocks the coldest air up into Canada, so our winters tend to be milder, but also brings in a lot of moisture across California and the Southwest, with the low pressure systems coming in off of the West Coast. A lot of soggy storm systems that come in from California, pushing down across Arizona and over southern Colorado. They favor our southern mountain areas, the San Juans, especially with the heaviest snows. And we oftentimes will see one or two big snows here in the metro area because that low pressure system will track just a little bit farther to the north, bringing a lot of moisture. December of 1982, October of 1997, and March of 2003, big storms during El Nino winters. Now, La Nina is the opposite. That's cooler water over the Pacific, fewer thunderstorms, but it also changes the pattern of the jet stream, and that means across the United States a different type of pattern that oftentimes comes in from the northwest. When we get a La Nina winter, the storms tend to favor the northern and central mountain areas, Steamboat into Summit County with the heaviest snows. The Denver area with these fast-moving storms coming down to the northwest tends to get a lot of wind, not a whole lot of strong snowstorms, and a little bit more frequent conditions that'll bring us some cold weather. This year, we're in between. It's not La Nina or El Nino, and that leaves the winter forecast to be a little bit tougher to pin down.
So with that being said, this season seems as though we will not have the same season as we did last year,
Probably
which was
not.
epic with the amount of snow that came through Colorado. So this year, as we're kind of neutralizing things, we'll kind of be in the middle of the road.
Yeah, you got to sharpen up your dart and figure out what it's going to
right?
be. But seriously, we don't have those strong drivers this year, but that leaves it to other factors, and it does kind of look like we'll have at least some decent snows here along the Front Range. A little bit of cold weather, but not severely cold. And I think the mountains will still be in pretty good shape.
I think we'll still see some significant snowstorms come through the higher elevations, some big good dumps. But here across the Front Range, our temperatures will warm slightly, so we may be more wet than white here across the Front Range. So we'll get some moisture, but it definitely won't look like it did last year with the El Nino kind of powering things for us.
It's good because at my age, my back is getting tired of shoveling, so I'd be okay with that. If mostly falls in the mountains, we don't get too much down here. A lot of people are pretty happy.
Absolutely.
Yep.
The sheer force of some of the hail we've seen this season may have taken some of you by surprise.
The problem is, while radar can easily pick up weather systems, predicting the size of hail that you'll see is difficult. But an otherwise controversial piece of technology could change that. I sat down with Denver 7's Megan Lopez to explain.
Out here at the National Center for Atmospheric Research in Boulder, it's a bluebird type of day.
But any Coloradoan will tell you the weather can change in an instant. Predicting hailstorms can be a challenge. You have hail, different sizes here. It's moving around in the clouds. It's basically just a juggling act up in the sky. And so what happens is the radar sees that motion and bounces off of these large, what we call hydrometeors, bounces back, and we can tell where the large hail is by how bright the signal is on the radar.
Even on these kind of days.
But inside the NCAR complex,
hail was a really untapped area for improving predictions.
David Gagne is working on a different way to predict hailstorms using the same technology that's right in your phone.
This is today's forecast from the machine learning model.
So here's how the technology works. When you first go to set up facial recognition software on your phone, it'll take a picture of your face. Every time you try to unlock your phone after that, it will take another picture to compare the two and make sure they're the same.
We can use the same kind of algorithm to look at large numbers of storms. Instead of giving it pictures of faces, you give it pictures of storms.
It's a technology that can help us better predict where hail will hit and its size. Better prediction means we can save lives, we can save money.
But it doesn't stop at hail.
This type of technology could soon be used for tornadoes, hurricanes, snow, lightning, and more.
These are really exciting times. Machine learning is just exploding.
They're still testing out the technology.
Slightly elevated risk of hail in the northern Colorado area for today.
And just like your phone,
they're hoping one day soon this algorithm could unlock the secrets to weather systems.
Colorado was once drought-free.
The normal condition here in Colorado is to have drought somewhere, and so we will see drought return.
And it has returned. Which parts of the state are now seeing those dry conditions?
Plus, ski lifts go high-tech.
When guests get on the chair and pull the bar down, the content comes on the screens.
The information on your ride up the mountain that could make your day on the slopes a bit easier.
When you see a story from one angle, seems clear what's going on. But when you see it from another, the whole story changes. 360 reporting, multiple perspectives, different opinions, so you can make up your own mind. Denver 7, let's go 360.
Colorado is no stranger to change. But one thing that will never change is our spirit. It's the people who make Colorado special. The mothers, the fathers, the families. Though we may see things from different perspectives, everyone has a voice. We're the innovators, the risk takers, the explorers, the people who help make a difference. We are Colorado. We are Denver 7.
When you see a story from one angle, seems clear what's going on. But when you see it from another, the whole story changes. 360 reporting, multiple perspectives, different opinions, so you can make up your own mind. Denver 7, let's go 360.
Colorado is no stranger to change. But one thing that will never change is our spirit. It's the people who make Colorado special. The mothers, the fathers, the families. Though we may see things from different perspectives, everyone has a voice. We're the innovators, the risk takers, the explorers, the people who help make a difference. We are Colorado. We are Denver 7.
When you see a story from one angle, seems clear what's going on. But when you see it from another, the whole story changes. 360 reporting, multiple perspectives, different opinions, so you can make up your own mind. Denver 7, let's go 360.
Colorado is no stranger to change. But one thing that will never change is our spirit. It's the people who make Colorado special. The mothers, the fathers, the families. Though we may see things from different perspectives, everyone has a voice. We're the innovators, the risk takers, the explorers, the people who help make a difference. We are Colorado. We are Denver 7.
When you see a story from one angle, seems clear what's going on. But when you see it from another, the whole story changes. 360 reporting, multiple perspectives, different opinions, so you can make up your own mind. Denver 7, let's go 360.
Hey, James.
Mike Nelson?
You know, these cumulus clouds are building fast. We're getting some storms with lightning on the backside. You might want to wrap this up.
Thanks.
Bring Mike Nelson anywhere you go with the free Storm Shield app. Download it today and get severe weather alerts and up-to-the-minute radar.
For the first time in nearly 20 years, the snowpack left Colorado almost entirely drought-free back in May. We're talking 99.99% drought-free. That 0.01% of the state that was experiencing abnormally dry conditions in Montezuma and Yuma counties. Again, that was back in May.
But you can see what a difference a few months makes. The map on the left is from May, basically all white, not highlighting any parts of the state in a drought. But on the right, a different story. In late August, 6.65% of Colorado was experiencing abnormally dry conditions, mainly in the western corners of our state and the lower eastern part of Colorado. And the dry conditions aren't getting any better. According to a report released in early September, around 20% of the state is experiencing abnormally dry conditions, including Park County, Summit County, and even parts of Clear Creek County. Drought has returned to the southern portion of our state, specifically Montezuma and La Plata counties. But that 20% is still a lot lower than what we saw last year. This time last year, 80% of Colorado was experiencing some drought condition.
2018 was a brutal fire season for the state of Colorado. Some of these images are hard to forget. One of the big ones, the 416 fire that burned for nearly 6 months near Durango. This fire was the 6th largest wildfire in state history, burning more than 85 square miles. Fortunately, we haven't seen massive wildfires like this in Colorado in 2019, and that's in part thanks to all the moisture we saw this past season. New numbers from South Metro Fire show wildfires down this season compared to 2018. In July, for example, a peak month for wildfire season, South Metro only responded to 8 wildland fires. That's way down from the 23 fires South Metro responded to in July of last year. And that's a similar trend across the board. And almost every month since January, South Metro responded to around half the number of wildland fires in 2019 compared to 2018. The moisture's also had a dramatic impact on the wildflower season. And if you're eager to get out and see some fall color, they may show up a little bit early this year. Typically, they start changing colors in late August in the higher elevations, but come the 2nd and 3rd week of September, those bright yellow and orange tints really show up. And they could pop up in your neighborhood, too.
Some of the best places to see the fall colors include Trail Ridge Road in Rocky Mountain National Park, Boreas Pass between Como and Breckenridge, Cottonwood Pass between Buena Vista and Taylor Park. There are more than a dozen other cool spots to see the fall colors. If you were looking for a place that we didn't mention, we've compiled a list. Just head over to thedenverchannel.com.
Our Colorado climate is changing, and we're seeing it in our national parks, warming up since 1916 when the national parks were established. 1.5 degrees at the Great Sand Dunes, 2 degrees at Black Canyon of the Gunnison. As far as Mesa Verde, warming up 2.5 degrees since 1916. And Rocky Mountain National Park, 1.6 degrees warmer. It's due to the increase in carbon dioxide from the burning of fossil fuels. Each molecule of carbon dioxide acting like a feather in a down comforter, trapping heat from escaping into outer space. That heat's going into the atmosphere and to the oceans, causing our global climate to change. I post frequently on this. Check it out on Facebook. Mike Nelson, Denver 7.
Ski season will be here before you know it, and you'll notice something brand new on the lifts at Winter Park. Denver 7's Jason Granauer shows us the high-tech screens to update you on the trails, even I-70 traffic.
It's very green. It's late August. It is not winter yet at Winter Park.
But that doesn't mean that work isn't being done at the base of Mary Jane.
When guests get on the chair and pull the bar down, the content comes on the screens.
Tablet screens are now being installed along safety bars with a trail map and a host of other information.
Weather reports, grooming reports, lift open and closed status. Each guest is always going to have 2 screens easily viewable.
The brainchild of Centennial-based Alpine Media technology that even comes with real-time traffic updates from I-70.
We also have a live feed from CDOT that actually shows different points from here back to Denver and gives time estimates and road conditions.
And in case of an emergency, like an avalanche warning or a missing skier, that message can instantly be shared across all displays. The company is working on installing their system on every chair of the Super Gauge Express lift, 104 chairs in all, and that's just part of their expansion.
We went from 1 resort to 4 resorts and expect to be in 10 to 15 resorts this year.
All without passing the costs of added tech down to skiers.
We put the technology on the resort at no cost to the resort, and then we recoup our costs through the form of advertising.
But it's not full-screen infomercials.
There are constant ads, but again, they take up less than 10% of the screen space.
Still plenty to do before ski season, which will be here before you know it.
About 2.5 months, but still plenty of work to do from our end.
At Winter Park, I'm Jason Granauer, Denver 7.
That'll do it for us for tonight on this special edition of Denver 7 Following the Pack.
Don't forget, you can always get the up-to-the-minute weather forecasts on our streaming apps for Roku, Amazon Fire, and Apple TV.